What's up, everybody? Welcome back. BSL16 Round of 8. We just saw a pretty epic series between QiaoGeGe and Oya PvP. Now it's time to switch gears here and get into a Terran versus Protoss here between two of the big greats. It's going to be Mihu facing off against Dewalt here to see who gets the first point on the board here.
Yeah, and we were talking about how Qiao had a 0% win rate versus Protoss until his match just now. I don't know. There's a lot of zeros in the versus Protoss for Mihu, but there's got a 1 in front of it. He doesn't lose versus Protoss. And he also took out the Dewalt in the finals. What was it, twice now? So
Twice.
This is not just a TVP that is going to be difficult for Mihu, but it's also versus, I would probably say, a rivalry now, because the first time they faced off versus each other, I don't know if you were there for it, Machine, but Mihu was late, an hour late, and Dewalt was not happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame him, right? You're all, you got the energy, you're all adrenalined up, like amped for a match, and then your opponent just no-shows for the first hour. Kind of, could be a little annoying, to put it lightly. But yeah, man, that's exactly what I want to see. A little bit of an annoyed Dewalt facing off against Mihu PvT, man. If there's any Protoss, in this round of 8 that has that good shot of taking out Mihu, it's absolutely Dewalt, right? He's playing phenomenally right now. He's finally over in Korea, getting the practice he has wanted for so long here. Yeah, he's going up against, honestly, the Chinese great, man. A lot of folks, even in China, say Mihu is the best of the best in their scene. So I'm really excited to get this one kicked off here. And it looks like we got the map selections already down for both our players as well. Game map 1 going to be Vermeer, no surprise there. Set 2 going to be Sylphid. And yeah, the third one going to be Butter. So pretty decent map picks here from both players to kick things off.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised at the bans from either side. Odyssey and Nemesis bans. If Mihu actually gets to late game on Odyssey, it's hard to fight on those bridges. Nemesis doesn't really fit Mihu's style. He's not someone that drops, so if you're not someone that's going to drop, I think Nemesis is just an auto ban. And then for Dewalt, Power Bond, it's a big map. I mean, it's just standard. I think it's not in the map pool or ladder map pool, so obvious veto there. And then getting rid of Circuit Breakers, also a big macro map, but it leaves up a map that players don't like to play on if you're Terran, which is Butter. You don't want to get gas stolen. You hate the probe in your base. You hate the zealot pressure. So overall, these just seem like normal bans for me. And Dewalt has decided that he wants to play on Vermeer first. So everything just looks quite normal to me. And we are ready for game 1. So let's get into it. Mihu versus Dewalt on Vermeer.
And spawning top left as the red Protoss, we have Dewalt.
And in the top right, our blue Terran, it is Mihu. Now, Artosis had a stream, I think it was literally yesterday, where he rated a lot of maps, like S through F. Of course, in the F was Fighting Spirit, but at the top, S rank was Vermeer. Do you think Vermeer's one of those S-rank maps that we've seen?
Absolutely, man. It is my go-to map. If I was, for whatever reason, playing in the BSL round of 8, you would guarantee that would not be one of my bans and would be one of my top picks. I feel like that is the map right now that if you just feel very confident and very comfortable, getting to those late game macro stages, it is such a big, wide open map with a lot of bases that it allows for that kind of play. And that's not even necessarily to say you have to play like late game here, right? It is just, everything about this map is so standard. High ground main, low ground natural ramp, easy to wall off. If you're Terran playing against Zerg, it's an easy map to wall your natural on for sure. It is just the kind of the quintessential, like, just safe standard go-to map in the map pool right now, I'd say. I don't know, what are your thoughts around Vermeer?
I mean, I love Vermeer. I think it's great. I also like how every base has gas. You know, it's not like circuit breakers where, you know, your third base has mineral only. It's not like Polypoid where your third base has mineral only. You don't have to deal with that kind of intricacy to it. So I think Vermeer is kind of just the quintessential macro map, standard map that you think of when you are trying to just pick or go for a normal map. Now we've got a first scout from Dewalt, and this is fantastic. He's going to see that, okay, this guy went 12 gas. He wasn't planning gasless. And meanwhile, Mihu did not find Dewalt first. Now, this is always an interesting moment because you don't necessarily have to in-scout like Flash does, even though the probe is quick, because, you know, for all you know, Dewalt could have pylon scouted. So Mihu, he is just going to continue to go to bottom left. And he's going to not find him there. So actually, this is going to be a last scout from Dewalt. And based on last game where we saw, you know, QiaoGeGe going fast tech, or not fast tech, QiaoGeGe going fast tech, Dewalt had the option to go fast tech like a Citadel opener, but he decided he's just going to play standard.
Yeah, why not, right? I mean, that's kind of the sign of someone who's very confident in their own play. He already got the advantage with that quick early scout, knows exactly what Mihu's up to here, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. So yeah, I really am already liking this positioning here from Dewalt in this game. Dragoon going to try to catch an SCV. Oh, a little bit of a late reaction though. Still, probe on the ramp, trying to delay, trying to prevent, and will do so. So that's actually a big pickup here for Dewalt so far.
Yep, nicely done. Now the probe being there kind of is a tell that, well, you're probably expanding because, you know, the ramp is so far away. It's not like you just pulled it because the SCV got by. It was already coming down. So Mihu should be pretty confident that this is just a normal expansion. But he does go Vulture anyways, and he does sneak it out without getting seen. So he will be able to come in and spot it. But this has been such a common move from Terran for, I would say, almost upwards of 2 years now, that Dewalt should rally his second goon to his ramp and just hold position there. And really all this Vulture is going to do is get him, you know, the knowledge that this was a Nexus.
You say that, and he is moving out with it.
No, don't. Don't do it, Dewalt!
He does.
Oh my god.
It has been did.
He's going to take so much damage now. I don't know if you know this machine, but Vultures do a lot of damage to probes. And they actually two-shot them.
Oh, they do?
So,
I did not know that. Wow.
Oh my god.
You told me this one Vulture could get potentially multiple probe kills?
Oh, yeah, he's already got multiple. He's on the board with 2. And you know what would really ruin my day? If that Vulture just gets out.
Oh, it's not going to get out, though. It's going to get another kill. Oh, jeez. I mean, you can't be happy with that if you're Dewalt. Honestly, once again, it just kind of stacks up to greed, right? There was no reason not to keep that Dragoon on the ramp, like you were saying. And he's going to pay a little bit of a price there for it.
Yeah, losing the 3 probes, I mean, that's a big deal, especially in the early game. And also, he had pulled like 8 probes just to try and minimize the damage. So this is really kind of losing like 4 or 5 probes, essentially, because of all the lost mining time. Now, that's actually a big pickoff, because that's a second Vulture, and now Protoss knows, like, hey, dude, you can't have a lot of tanks because you just built multiple Vultures, and he, you know, has delayed mines on the map. So that means that Dewalt can feel confident to take a third Nexus off of even just these 3 goons, because what is Terran going to attack him with? I mean, 1 tank plus Marines? I mean, are you really scared of that? Not really when you have 2 gates.
Definitely not, man. I like the follow-up decision here from Dewalt. It's exactly what he needs to do to, you know, try to regain some footing here in this match. But we do have 1 Vulture out on the map with mines now here for Mihu. Oh, wow. Good reaction time there from Dewalt. Going to... Oh, never mind. It slips by and kills a probe, man. So once again, Mihu just on top of it here.
And it gets into the main, and he's going to get 3 more probe kills when he should have gotten none. This is so painful, and Mihu not missing a beat. Those 6 kills in the probes are the difference in the worker count right now. Turret ring coming up for for Mihu, even though he got in, I guess he's a little bit worried that a Reaver could be coming in. It didn't seem like he spotted the support bay, but the turret ring comes up anyways.
Yeah, this is a pretty well-timed turret ring as well. Obviously, the ob's going to slip in. There's not much you can do to really prevent that. But yeah, that should at least give Dewalt the vision he needs to keep up on, what the factory count is, when the armory is going down, things like that. But still, I mean, he's only seeing a single completed factory, second factory underway, and he's already got his own third Nexus up.
And this is just what Mihu does. Anytime you get an observer in his base, I mean, you don't even necessarily need an observer in his base because factories are coming around this 7:30 mark, so he's already gone into 3. I would say that his armory is much faster than in previous BSLs. He already had, I think, +1 almost halfway done now. Yeah, it's about a third of the way done. So this is more in line with standard 2-1, whereas in the past, Mihu was, getting like an 8-minute armory, like super, super late and just putting on pressure with 4 fact. But this looks like it's going to be a defensive 3 fact into his starport, get the upgrades, and then command center follow up most likely. And there it is. That's the command center at the bottom.
Jeez, okay. I mean, I think a decent reaction from Mihu, right? Like, there's obviously never anything wrong with just going to this third command center, third base style. But I gotta say, I'm a little surprised to see it from Mihu, given how he typically plays. He's usually very aggro with his 2-base timings, so we're already seeing an adjustment here in Game 1. I don't know if this is something he has prepared specifically for Dewalt's style, or maybe he's just kind of adjusting his own play versus Protoss in general recently. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that this scan that didn't kill the observer is actually a huge deal, because I still don't think that Protoss knows that, or Terran knows that Protoss like double expanded, and that also means that because he used 2 scans now, he doesn't get to scan the Arbiter timing at top left. Now, if I've ever seen a Nyoken expansion, that's it at bottom right. That is all the way across the map. It's on Terran's side of the map. I would say that this is probably never going to get scouted, because think about it. I killed 6 probes. I know you fast expanded, and you're probably teching at some point. So how can you afford 4 Nexuses? Like, that's just unheard of. So I don't think this could ever possibly get scouted unless there's a probe transfer, which I highly doubt.
Yeah, I mean, Dewalt is obviously not going to do anything he can to give this thing away. Wow, Arbiter Tech gets scouted there from Mihu. So he knows, Arbiter is in fact on the way here. But yeah, he's scouted that third base, is already at full saturation, it looks like. Looks like he's moving out to take his own third. Oh, Dragoon's getting caught a little bit here from Dewalt. Kind of some sloppy, move out timing, but still not a significant deal.
Yeah, and the scan of Mihu did spot that it was fast Arbiter as a follow-up. So Dewalt doesn't have, oh no, this is so risky, man. I mean, this is 10 minutes. You're playing versus a Terran. I can't either. I mean, there's few Terran players that are good at laying mines, but Terror is one of them. Mihu's another one, obviously. This feels so risky, but at least his goons and observers did walk everywhere to try and clear out mines. But, I mean, literally if there's just any mine in the center of the map, or even on the right side in general, it would have spotted this.
At the same time, it looks like he's going to get away with it, which is unreal, right? How often do you ever see a 10-minute 4th base with a full probe transfer on your opponent's side of the map, right? This is just as optimal as possible for this matchup, I feel like, and it really will be a difference maker. I think Dewalt will start running away with this game just because of bottom right.
Yeah, and that's carriers at bottom right, by the way. Those are Stargates, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, this is not only a hidden base, it's also hidden carrier tech. So this is Mihu must find this, and he's got to do something about it ASAP, because Dewalt already got away with a fast Nexus, a fast 3rd Nexus, and Arbiter Tech. Now to also get away with a fast 4th Nexus and carriers, I mean, that's absurd. At least, oh wow, the drop. Okay, well, he needs to come in here and spot the cybernetic spinning, and that does, did it really just complete? So he still doesn't know about the carriers.
He might have even canceled it, but
he might have canceled it.
still, and the cannon timing in this main, you know, this is almost like giving Mihu some fake confidence, right? Gets a couple more probes for his efforts, whatever. But man, Dewalt is positioning himself for a pretty big win here.
Well, I got to tell you, Dewalt, he needs to start taking nexuses on the left side of the map, because right now, Mihu's probably getting skeptical about what's going on. Like, hey, dude, it's 12 minutes. Why don't you have a 4th nexus? Now, I think bottom middle is kind of sneaky, but at this point, when you already have a hidden base, you kind of need to make it seem like you're playing normal. You want it to get scouted at bottom left. You don't want him to start coming to bottom right, because that's where what you're really relying on here is you're relying on these 3 Stargates to get up and running. So I would really love to see a Nexus on the left side, because if I'm Terran at this point and I only see 8 gates, an Arbiter, you haven't attacked me yet, I'd start wondering, like, okay, what the hell's actually going on?
Yeah, it's honestly a fair point. I'm surprised he's not trying to walk a probe with this Dragoon force down to bottom left. It looks like Mihai is going to... Oh, he found it and is dropping bottom right. This is big problems here for Dewalt. Wow, suddenly everything not looking great at all for Dewalt.
Yeah, and this was... He walled himself in with the pylons, so that goon or that tank in vultures, you know, racked up tons and tons of kills. Look, he's trying to even kill his pylon right now just to get in here and save the base. And Dewalt's supply is, you know, actually very low. It's at 130 versus 170, and also Mihu's hitting the point in the game where Terran's about to max. It's 13 minutes. They're also about to have 2-1. So if I see Protoss with all these goons over here, I might just insta counterattack top left and just go for the main.
I feel like he could. There's so many tanks here from Mihu. And I mean, he obviously knows the carrier production is at the bottom side of the map here, so he could just avoid those carriers by going straight to the main. Oh no, 6 o'clock going to be falling at the same time. It's just, I mean, a little bit of miscontrol here, I feel like, from Dewalt. Those vultures are still alive bottom right as well.
When I played Mihu in an earlier round, one of the things I instantly noticed about Mihu is his multitask is really quick. Like, when he attacks one place, he'll attack the other place really quickly. And the fact that we still don't see a move out right now is kind of surprising to me. I actually think it's bugged, because the tanks are all just sitting there, and that seems very un-Mihu-esque to me.
Okay, we might check the replay here real quick, folks. Might be bugged out. So yeah, still though, given their position, man, everything was looking so good for Dewalt until bottom right got scouted, right? I was not expecting a single dropship with a tank and 2 vultures to be able to do so much damage. But once again, man, Mihu finds a way.
Yeah, like I said, once it reaches a certain point in the game, I mean, even lower level Terrans are going to start thinking, like, dude, you got to be doing something. Like, what the hell's going on? I mean, this isn't, you know, 1500 rank. I know you just didn't macro. You spent your money on something, and that 1 tank and 2 vulture drop did a ton of damage, to say the least. I hope that the replay was bugged, because I want to see Mihu just instant attack top left, because I don't think Dewalt can stop it.
Alright, looks like the replay was bugged, folks. So we're ready and set, and let's jump back into the game here. Oh, you called it.
Yeah, you knew it. I mean, Mihu's just, he's too fast. His multitask is too fast. When you play 4-fact, you actually have to have really fast multitask to be managing your macro and pushing and taking a 3rd base and doing all this other stuff. So we've got a big attack coming. Supplies are actually, you know, way closer than it seemed before we got out of the replay a moment ago. But an EMP hits, and that's huge.
Yeah, that was a very nice EMP on top of that Arbiter. We do have a few carriers. Looks like Dewalt opting to counter with a couple of them.
Oh my god, those Templars need 5 energy per storm! That means there's no AoE in this, except for a single stasis. There's no way he can stop this army. That's so many tanks. And with 8 or 9 factories, he'll be able to rally Goliath. I would say, unfortunately for Dewalt, is he doesn't have the carriers at top left, because there's only 3 Goliaths right now. Look at the tanks just melt everything, though.
Great mind connects there on those rallying zealots as well. And there's still so many tanks left for Mihu here. Ah, man, Storm does go down on a couple of the tanks though, but man, I don't even know if this carrier could fight these double, you know, these two Goliaths. It looks like
Plus 2
And
weapon Goliaths. It's too much.
Suddenly things looking miserable here for
Yeah.
Dewalt.
It's GG. There it is. GG. And Mihu finding the carriers at bottom, or the base at bottom right, was clutch for him. Because if that carrier count, even if it's at 4, the Goliath count wasn't that high. What was it, like 7 with the initial push? 4 carriers will beat that easily. And then you've got a Protoss with weird base placement. You got to deal with the base at the corner while also dealing with the base in the middle, while also dealing with the bases at the top. Gets into a really awkward game state. So really nice timing from Mihu to just end it there.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Mihu knows exactly when to kind of pull the trigger, right? Like, he's not one of these Terrans that will just like sit and wait until max and easily secure that 4th base before moving out. Like, he'll take some risks, and I mean, as you mentioned, the multitasking was just next level. He was dropping the main, dropping bottom right, like vultures moving out all across the map, you know. And you kind of mentioned it during the last game, but it was almost like scouting that there was no 4th bottom left is what tipped the turn of events. Like, if Dewalt had something down there, a pylon wall, I'm sure Mihu, you know, there's maybe a shot that Mihu didn't end up scouting bottom right, and you know, bottom right would ultimately pay off for Dewalt, but unfortunately that was not the case there. But yeah, with map number 2, it's going to be Sylphid. Kind of an interesting map for the matchup. It's a little back and forth, I'd say. Like, I think it's great for a lot of like Terran 2 base timings, but you know, the later the game gets, it's also great for carriers for Protoss, I'd say. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one here, and obviously it's a map that both these players are comfortable with. All right, folks. Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, so our players are ready. Let's get into game 2, see if Mihu can close it out.
And spawning at the 12 o'clock position as the blue Terran from China, it is Mihu.
And in the bottom left, our red Protoss. It is Dewalt. And Sylphid, historically this map has been really good for Terran versus Protoss. And really good, I mean, like, you know, if it's even close to 50% or slightly in favor of Terran, like 51%, I mean, that's a really freaking good map for TVP. And that just seems to have been the case with Sylphid for so long. So I like that Mihu has picked this as his map choice.
Yeah, I honestly think it's great, right? You know, this is a map that I've seen a lot of 2 base, like Terran timings work very well, and we obviously know Mihu's like loves and is known for that 4-fact pressure style TVP, and he even, like, sometimes if he doesn't kill them outright with it, he can still follow up and expand to a 3rd from it, no problem. So I would expect to see that here for game number 2.
Yeah, I also think we could see the 4-fact that you're talking about, but lately Mihu, for some reason, has kind of started playing more standard, where you see the 2-1 timings, but that just makes him more dangerous, because now when you see factories in his base, you need to know more than that. You need to know the armory timing. You need to know, okay, is this 3-fact or 4-fact actually for a timing now? Or is this going to be for, you know, a 2-1 timing? Or is this factory going to be for, or are these 4 factories setting up for, you know, a fast 3rd base? What am I actually looking at? In the past, you just saw the 4 factories. You knew the timing was coming. You knew there was a command center behind it. But now, Mihu's, you know, implemented more into the play, making him more dangerous. And again, we've got a fast scout for Mihu, but not going to find Dewalt at bottom right. Meanwhile, Dewalt, no scout, and I think this is also no zealot. So this is just going to be another goon expand.
Yeah, no scout, no zealot, early goon. I think it's pretty safe, given that he's not expecting someone like Mihu to do any crazy, you know, proxy BBS play or something like that. So I think this is a completely fine call here from Dewalt. First goon on the way. Looks like Mihu's SCV will be scouting towards the main here. Mihu obviously pulling 2 SCVs off gas. Wouldn't expect to see any kind of 2-fact play. This should just be, standard fact expand out of Mihu as we'd expect.
Well, this is a little subtle thing, but this is a sick depot Rax factory placement. The Rax and depot prevents the zealots from getting into the mineral line. And also there's that small gap at the top mineral patches where the SCV can block a zealot moving in there. So that means that zealots just can't get on top of your army at all. And also, I think the Marines can fit through the racks and factory. So actually, probably after this series, I'm going to go recommend this build order or this building placement to Artosis because I know he's got this unvetoed right now.
Are you telling me Artosis has a problem with defending early zealots, TVP?
I think every Terran player has problems with defending zealots, but the reason I said I'm not going to put it into my play is because I just got Sylphid vetoed. I don't like this map for Terran versus Zerg, so I don't even have to worry about that. It's just gone.
Gotcha. Oh, man. Well, first Dragoon showing up here, getting a peek at that bunker. I don't know if he's confirmed the command center yet, but knowing that it's Mihu, it's, you could likely expect there to be a command center behind it all. Yeah, I think he just did it right there, so loses a little bit of HP for that Dragoon. Whoa, what could that be? Proxy DT?
Proxy DT? So
is that a play? Huh.
Is that a play? Of course it's a play machine. We're going to find out if it's a play if the Vulture goes to the right side and scouts it, though. There's some times where you see it about to unfold. You're like, wow, Proxy DT, it's amazing. And then there's a Vulture and it goes to the right side and you're just like, wow, this was the worst play ever. Why would Protoss ever do this?
Oh, man. That's a very fast archives as well. Halfway complete. He knows there's a Vulture out on the map, though. It's going to scout the natural nexus completing. Wow. I mean, it's likely mines. No, oh my gosh. Armory? He's going to have to defend this with just mines, right?
Yep, 5-minute armory. He's just going to have to defend it with mines. Like you said, mines are already done. Thinking back to last game, this is not the identical armory timing, but so far in terms of what's been produced out of the factory, it's identical. We've got 1 Vulture, 1 tank, but that's a second tank, and he has no detection at all. eBay's not even halfway done. First DT is already almost out, and this game might be over.
I mean, if you're Mihu, you're hoping that you get these 3 mines down and all of the DTs clump up, and maybe you get a miraculous hold that way, right? But I don't know if that's going to be the case. Oh, he's pushing
this is
out?
Over. Yeah, he's pushing with Marine tank, so this game's done. This DT with pylon wall.
Don't jinx it, Nyoken. Well, don't tell me that DT could die to the 3 mines.
Well, I guess the game's not done if there's a big mine explosion, but this is really doomsday scenario for Mihu right now. The DT just waltzes in like he owns the place. It's a turret ring because that's what Mihu does. So he has no detection in his main. The turret at the natural is in an interesting spot, but the main is just going to get ransacked. And goodbye, tank.
Yeah, tank going down. Goons tearing down that empty bunker. There is a turret complete at the natural here. Dewalt's going to need to be a little safe, but nothing inside the main. DTs are just wreaking havoc on this mineral line here. And it's looking great here. Oh, are you kidding me?
That was really sick. Actually, if he can hold the turret at the natural, he might be able to hold this. Wow, that tank died real quick. I forgot the DT can just swipe it down in like 4 shots.
We still have a DT inside the main. No, it falls, and quite a few SCVs still alive. This is still an insane hold here, one way or another, from Mihu.
Yeah, this is a really nuts hold, but does it matter is the question. I mean, yeah, he just taps out. I mean, he lost so many SCVs, but it was about as well as you're gonna hold it when you have your whole army across the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an unfortunate call there from Mihu. Likely did not expect the, proxy DTs out of Dewalt. And Dewalt, man, I mean, he's showing why he's so dangerous. Even with his high-level, confident, PvT-style play, he can still pull out stuff like proxy DT and make it work when it matters, man. So, yeah, with that, it's all tied up between these two.
Yeah, and even though you were calling the 4-fact in this game, I think after the first game where Mihu just played super standard, I think he telegraphed himself that it was probably going to be some type of pressure play, and that triggered the DT. And it's not like you can't transition out of DT anyways, but if you go DT and they're pushing like that, well, there's no detection. You just slam it. Super easy. You can get a free win like that. So that was a really nice read from Dewalt. Now we're going into game 3, which is again going to be Dewalt's pick. And we've got Butter. A 2-player map.
Butter, man. What do you think we're going to see here? Is this going to be like
Gas
a
steal.
proxy gate, gas steal? Okay, gas steal. Can you 12 next gas steal?
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's technically a 12 Nexus, but that's one of the main builds machine is you gas steal and then you Nexus. I mean, that's just the go-to. What's Terran going to attack you with? Marines? Doesn't a Zealot kill all that?
Exactly, or a single cannon.
Oh yeah, a single cannon. I forgot about that. That's, a lot of players go into Forge because sometimes Terran players be like, I'm going to be sneaky here. I'm going to, not pull until the last minute, and then I ran into a cannon, and cannon literally just kills everything. 2 shots Marines, 3 shots workers. You build 2 cannons, it's lights out.
Lights out, man. Well, we'll have to see how these players choose to adjust here, but both of our players are ready to go. It's going to be Butter Mihu going up against Dewalt for game 3. And spawning top right of Butter as that red Protoss, it is Dewalt.
And in the bottom right, getting the dream spawn, in my opinion, it's Mihu. Bottom right, you can wall, which is why I like this position, or it's easier to wall. Technically, you can still wall top right, but I have much easier time walling here, and I always enjoy it when somebody tries to pylon block, because there's like 3 different ways you can wall bottom right, and pylon block obviously can't block all of them. Well, we do have Dewalt going with a forward. Oh, that's not as forward as I thought, actually. I thought we were going to have a forward gate outside the natural, but there goes that pesky probe, of course, and this is going to be setting up for gas steal.
When you say wall, do you mean wall the main or wall like the natural for Terran?
Wall the main. You can't... Walling the natural is too risky, but you can wall the main right at that entrance with the egg.
Kind of like the oil wall we saw earlier today?
Yeah, you can do it like that, but it's... well, my personal opinion is you don't do it like that instantly from Terran, because the SCV pops out on the left side sometimes, and the probe will pick it off, and you have no way to get the SCV, a second SCV out. But you can do like a racks on the bottom left, then depot the top right. But this is going to be gas steal, and see you later, Mihu. You're going to have to play gasless versus me.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of called it at the start of this one. I think this is going to be a great map here for Dewalt. I mean, they've both practiced this so much. I'm real interested to see, how Mihu's going to be forced to adjust here with this gasless expand. Good harass so far from the probe of Dewalt. Man, he just gets so aggressive with it.
Yeah, and I'm a bigger fan of this particular follow-up, which is the Gateway Zealot Pressure, because what this does is it forces Mihu to actually build Marines, and it also forces him to deal with the Assimilator, because you can't just take your command center with, Marines, because there's going to be non-stop Zealots. You're kind of in a really awkward position here. Dewalt's probably going to build at least 3 Zealots, and at some point, if he doesn't go early with the first or second one, probably just run by a bunker if it gets set up. Okay, actually he is rushing a bunker, but like I said, Dewalt's just going to run by this.
Yeah, there's no great way to really wall this. It's quite a wide entrance here at the natural for Mihu. SCV even taking quite a few shots from that probe. I mean, Dewalt just getting after it with the control
second racks.
early on.
Second racks machine.
Bus Terran? Is this Bus
Yeah,
Terran?
is this Bus Terran?
Marine actually... Oh no! Wow, Dewalt getting a kill on that unsuspecting SCV here. So things looking pretty good so far. Will Dewalt be tipped off when he gets inside the main here and sees nothing else going on? Or does he just think this is a late command center?
I think he's already tipped off. The reason I say that is because normally, first off, the command center should be there. Second off, you're not attacking the gas at all. So, what are you actually doing, right? Like, what could you possibly be doing? And you can see Dewalt already knows. He's sending a probe across, and once he finds this Rax, if he finds this Rax, all he needs is a cannon and the game's over.
He sees the SCV. Oh,
Forge,
he did.
If Forge
but
goes
remember,
up, this game's done.
The pylon's in such a weird spot. I don't know. He's going to need another pylon at that natural in order to defend.
He can just put cannons behind his gate. You don't have to necessarily defend the Nexus. All you have to do is not die, because Terran has nothing. I mean, Terran has no gas. Terran has no command center. You have no SCVs actually even attacking the gas. Protoss just has to not lose here, and he's fine even if the Nexus dies. But like you said, the pylon is weird. He does only have one cannon right now. He needs to pull probes. He needs to pull like all of his probes right now. Maybe not all, but it's like 10 or so probes.
Yeah, we got linebackers. Looks like a couple zealots moving out to flank this. I mean, he's gonna need to rely on that shield battery just perfectly here.
Oh, the flank. Who needs probes when you got 4 zealots and a battery and a cannon machine?
Well, I mean, if the cannon doesn't get up, things suddenly get really scary here, but obviously it's just barely in time, looks like. And yeah, Mihu forced to pull back here.
Again, I'm getting flashbacks. Do you remember that Terran versus Zerg that we saw like a couple weeks ago, where he pulled SCVs, but he only pulled like 6, and it didn't even sync up with the Marines? I'm getting flashbacks to this, because when you do something like this as Terran, you're all in. So if you're all in, we need to pull. Like, in Mihu's main, he still doesn't have his gas. So it's not like there's an academy with Ranger coming. Like,
he actually
now we're just screwed now. Like, Protoss has 2 Nexus. Yes, I'm up workers, technically, but this is double Nexus.
Another gateway going down inside the main here. It looks like the Marines going to try to get on top of this can line. It's not going to happen.
There's still 2 zealots out on the map that they're just counterattacking. They're going to run by this bunker again.
Yeah,
okay,
looks
maybe
like
not. Those are too weak.
Still, they're going to confirm that command center building at the natural. Looks like Mihu opting to try to follow this one up. I mean, this is, if he loses here, this is end of series and Dewalt the victor. So I get why he's continuing. Range starting to be researched here from Dewalt. I would expect to see a big Dragoon pump here and then some pressure onto this forward bunker of Mihu.
Yeah, so Dewalt had his assimilator, in Mihu's main this entire time. He knows it pretty much just now died. So he knows that there's no factory. Not that Marine Medic is a good follow-up into cannons, because obviously I'm not recommending that. But now when you see the racks floating to your main, well, now you know, okay, first off, this guy had no gas. He can't be going Marine Medic now because now he's floating his racks. And he has no factory because I was spotting the whole time. So what does he actually have that can do damage to me? Well, the answer is zip. So if I was Dewalt, I would just expand to 3rd base, maybe even 4th base off of what I have right now, and there goes that probe.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm almost surprised we don't already see a probe at another base, to be honest with you, because there's just nothing. Like, Mihu has absolutely nothing that can really even pressure Dewalt at the moment. We're just now seeing hidden command center mid-left, and why not, right? I think this is a great call to try to get yourself back into the game, given the current situation.
Yeah, this is exactly what you need to do. You're in a spot where a normal game state, you're never winning. You've got to go for the Hail Mary here. And I think if Dewalt doesn't scout this, he really drops the ball. He scouted for the racks, which was obviously a big move from him, but now he really has to find this mid-left base, because you don't want to let Terran get on 3 gases hidden and you have no idea. Well, we've got a double bunker, but that's not going to save Mihu.
Yeah, it's just going to buy time. I feel like he needs both these bunkers just to give him the time he needs to get a tank out. And we're going to see mid-left get scouted here.
Yep. And getting scouted means that's going to be a canceled base. So that's going to force... Well, maybe he won't cancel it. Just let it complete. And then Dewalt will go kill it. And that's going to force Mihu to, probably go into 6 facts just to not die. Because he's not going to have any other way to take a 3rd base now that that one's gotten spotted and is no longer hidden.
I mean, if Mihu's going to come back in this one, it is going to be a long road ahead, really, to face off the advantage that Dewalt has in this game. Forge already spinning, so he's going to have upgrade advantage. Third base is already starting. We do finally have Siege here for Mihu, so he's going to get a couple nice shots off against Dragoons, but
oh my gosh,
Dewalt
he's gonna
says
bust. He could bust this. I mean, bunkers are decent, but this would be the perfect time. I realize there's 2 tanks, but Terran's probably feeling confident, like, hey, I pushed the units back, and he's pulled SCVs off, but instead he doesn't go in right now. Actually, yes, I realize Mihu doesn't really have a strong ground army, but he doesn't seem to be as far behind as I thought he was, because he does have 49 SCVs versus just 52. He's not died, he hasn't taken Reaver damage, he hasn't gotten harassed at all. He's only really down 1 base, but I mean, this is just so many units for Dewalt right now, and how do you ever get past this before Protoss explodes into 4 or 5 base?
Yeah, I'm not sure how, honestly. Like, he does only have just the 3rd base up at the moment, 9:30 mark, so still, you have to call this advantage to Dewalt, but I get what you're saying. Like, I thought this was just completely over after the failed double racks timing from Mihu, but you know, once the tank count gets high enough, it can be quite difficult for Protoss to engage, and I think Mihu's really just gonna rely on that here.
Well, it couldn't be a better map pick or map for him either, because this is butter. You know, you split the map. Protoss is limited to what, maybe 6, 7 bases. You know, it's not Vermeer where there's a real chance that Protoss has, 10 bases. And if you're Terran in a position like this, maybe you get like 5 or so, right? So at least I would say Mihu has to win decisively at least 3 battles, like just defensively, just make sure he doesn't get obliterated. And then if he can secure his 3rd base and 4th base, maybe he slowly takes his 5th base, and then he'll be facing, what, 5 base versus maybe 6 or 7 base Protoss? I mean, I've seen games where Terran can win that, so Mihu just has to have favorable trades in the next couple minutes.
It is pure gateway tech out of Dewalt. We're not seeing a Stargate. We're not seeing, carrier play or anything like this. So, I mean, at least Mihu's got that to kind of look forward to. He knows he can just really rely on heavy tank tech to handle whatever it is that Dewalt's going to throw at him. But still, if you're Dewalt, you're up, a good 30 supply at the moment. You're up bases. You have map control. You got to be feeling pretty good given the current situation.
Yeah, Dewalt's strategy could be here, just throw units at him over and over and make sure that he never gets a 3rd base, or if he does, he's at least mined out in his main and natural at the same time, so it's still just a 1 base Terran, because he's just building so many units. And the command center is built for Mihu, but he can't land it.
I'm surprised we're not seeing any mines being placed from Mihu, right?
Well,
he doesn't have mines.
Oh, he's going in now. Oh my gosh, this is a bust. It's 150 versus 120. Terran can win this fight, but the tanks are so far forward, he's going to lose basically all of his tanks. There was only 1 safe tank in the back line. All the Zealots melt, but none of the goons have died. Meanwhile, all the tanks die, and this is just a massacre. But supplies are still surprisingly close, 115 to 90, but it just looks like the Dewalt has way more.
Yeah, he's just got too many units in the right spot here. We're finally starting to see those linebackers falling as well. Only 2 tanks remaining for Mihu here. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a little close, but Dewalt still with a very confident lead. And, I mean, once again, Mihu is no closer to being able to hold a 3rd.
Well, I don't know. This was a decent hold from Mihu. Yes, I realize he lost a lot of tanks, but the fact that Dewalt's just continuing to come in here, it's now 4 tanks with 5 fact production, so the vulture count's gonna get high. If Dewalt suicides in here again, all of a sudden it's gonna give... Oh my gosh! Storm dropping to the natural, gets 5 SCV kills. That's a great Storm, eliminates a lot of the vultures, but like I said, look at what's here to actually prevent Mihu from getting out. I mean, it's not much. What's it, 3 goons and 4 zealots rallied?
Yeah, it's really not much, like you're saying. I mean, he's got the cannons back at his bases he needs to properly defend against any kind of, vulture run by, but still, he is absolutely just dive bombing this. Oh no, neither Templar made it out, but still, good mind drag on top of the remaining tanks. And
Oh
once
my
again,
God.
Dewalt just removing anything of Mihu's here.
Yeah, and he killed all the tanks now. So now Terran, maybe if he had 5 tanks, he could have felt confident, like, okay, maybe I can actually build turrets, set up, depot walls, have a floated racks to soak up hits. But with no tanks now, he's still not going to feel confident to try and take his third base. So instead, he's going to try and counter with these vultures, even just laying mines. But he's... Oh, is that a tank drop?
Ooh.
Okay, top left, that's nice. But Protoss has so much stuff still.
Yeah, big goon obs force now for Dewalt here. He does get the interception. Very fortunate for Dewalt there. But these 2 tanks remaining of Mihu top left, I mean, maybe if they get a good, couple pot shots off on the cannons and probe line, he could do some significant damage. But still, though, I mean, Dewalt's got to be feeling good.
Yeah, cannons are set up at top left, but there's so many mines getting set up now, and actually there's no observer, so these 2 tanks could do a lot of damage. They're going to pop the cannon and...
both cannons.
Oh my gosh, all the probes might die here, actually. This is a really good trade for Mihu, despite losing the dropship. Okay, maybe it's not. Surprisingly, those probes all got away almost.
Yeah, it was pretty close, though, still. I mean, I'm surprised Mihu's, finding the damage. And he's actually made enough space to secure his own third, so we will be moving to the next stage of this game.
Yeah, Dewalt still has 4 bases, though, but it's not like he has carrier tech, it's not like he has arbiter tech, it's just shuttle man and gateway man with storm, and, that can be a punishing combination if you're able to harass nonstop, but really, other than his initial attack where he wiped out really cost-effectively those tanks, the trades have not been, super amazing for Dewalt, so this is surprisingly an okay position for Mihu. I mean, I realize he's still down 60 supply, but this was not how I was expecting this game to turn out based on the openers. Oh my god, that's so much.
Oof, yeah, this is so much Protoss, just steamrolling bottom right here. Double shuttle drop coming in here. SCVs just completely being cleared. Very nice storms on the siege tanks there as well. And Dewalt trying to just steamroll in here. But yeah, the wall is inevitably what's going to end up fending this off. Still, though, I think Dewalt is fine to get away with these inefficient trades, right? He's up to almost 70 probes. He's on 5 base. I mean, he's not really looking for even trades here. He's looking for any trades is kind of what it feels like. And I mean, he's completely taking control of this game here.
Yeah, and that time that drop actually did a lot of damage. It killed like 20 SCVs. So those are the drops that Dewalt is looking for. Another unload into the natural. Storm gets a decent amount of, not as many as I expected. They still got like 3 or 4. So another good harassment there. And meanwhile, Dewalt taking Nexuses on Mihu's side of the map. I always love when Protoss players do that because, oh, you want a turtle? That's fine, but I'm going to mine out your bases. So if you turtle, you're basically saying to me, you don't want these, and I'm just perfectly fine with that. So you're going to have to do something about it. Otherwise, Dewalt is going to have access to, let me see, 8 bases versus 4 for Terran.
Yeah, it's definitely not a favorable cut for the Terran here, right? Like, I mean, we talk about this map because it is so easy. It feels like for Terran to kind of cut it in half occasionally, and you would say it even maybe favors Terran if you get to those 50-50 scenarios. But Dewalt already securing his advantages here, securing these potential next bases. Probes get scouted here from Mihu. That's kind of going to give away the adjustment here, but still, probes continuing to rally there, bottom left, and Dewalt trying to put Mihu on a timer here.
Yeah, Mihu has to do something about this base, because if he doesn't, 4 base versus 8, I don't think Terran has a shot in hell of winning a game at that game state. But 5 versus 7, I could see a world where Terran wins. And after spotting that base, instantly moves to the left side. So he's gonna, okay, we've got another attack. Zealot's running in, actually dying really quickly before they can get on top of the tanks. The vulture control of Mihu is so sick, man. All that's left are goons, but unfortunately, these 4 tanks in the center didn't help that entire fight, so the goons are able to kill a decent chunk of the army and push the command center back.
Yeah, there's just so many Dragoons, really, is kind of the story at the moment, man. Dewalt just, I mean, he's just ahead in every way and knows it, and is using that to his advantage here. Bottom left continues to mine. Man, it looks like he's finally getting that Stargate Tech Arbiter play. And, you know, he's probably going to just continue dive bombing this with Zealot Storm as well.
Yeah, and it's just such a awkward position for Mihu because he has to push left side. Okay, we've got another drop onto the tanks, and really didn't get much done. Like I said, the Vulture control is absolutely nasty from Mihu. I mean, he's just so good with them, limiting the amount of damage that Dewalt does. But Dewalt's still able to pick off like 4 or 5 tanks. But when you know Terran is, you know, has all their defense at the left side, all of a sudden that opens up the right side. I mean, look at what the defense is there. It's 2 depots and one tank.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, he's got to cut somewhere, right? He is absolutely behind. And so right now, since Dewalt's choosing to fight towards the left side of the map, I just think this is what he has to do to maybe try to make a comeback in this one. We did see the main command center float to a 4th base, so he will be securing another base. This will be some additional mining here for him. So maybe, yeah.
Terran's down 25 workers, so even though it's a 200 to 120, it's actually, in terms of army, you know, like a 200 to 145 advantage for Protoss. So it's surprisingly closer than it looks. We're going to have another drop down here. The drop this time around is going to find access onto all those tanks, but again, the Vulture positioning is fantastic. Storm, there it is. He blankets a lot of the Vultures, but again, it gets pushed back. But Dewalt's okay with these trades, like you said, because he's just starving Terran out and meanwhile mining his bases at the left side.
Yeah, Dewalt's just, I mean, getting really nasty with these drops. Zealot drops, I mean, we saw both the shuttles kind of split apart, hit different portions of the tank line there. You know, in every single trade, like you're saying, is just going to be in favor for Dewalt here. As long as he continues to delay and continues to mine this bottom left base, every second that goes by is just, you know, time wasted here for Mihu, money gone that he'll never be able to recoup. I mean, maybe if there's a way he secures mid, I don't even know. I don't even know if that's what it's gonna take to, you know, be able to continue here for Mihu. His natural likely going to be mined out here in a second, and 3rd not too far behind it.
Vultures have bought a lot of time, and Mihu now has 3-2 upgrades. He also has a vessel out. If you don't necessarily have to EMP Arbiters or EMP Templars, if you EMP a blob of goons or a blob of zealots, those things will get blown up in an instant. So he's got to be careful here. Another Zealot bomb. It's double turret, though. Vultures were out of position for a second. He does manage to get 2 tanks, maybe?
Yeah, 2, weaken some more as well. I mean, and that's just trading minerals for gas, you know, at this point, too, which is another way to be very efficient while you're trading. I mean, we're looking at the income here for Dewalt. He's at 3K maxed. He's got the money to trade.
Yeah, but okay, we've got recall coming in. Okay, I like it. I love how now he's isolated the vulnerability at mid right. Even though that's not as big of a recall as I was expecting, it's going to shut down this base, and it's going to put Mihu down to 1 base mining. You can see Mihu struggling to push mid left. He has to do something.
Even if Dewalt gives this base up entirely, right? Like, he kind of can at this point, but
yeah,
he's still going to just continue to defend it. I like the positioning of the Dragoons on the high ground there, just delaying and forcing, you know, as much pressure as possible out of Mihu if he wants to take this base. But yeah, without that 3rd now of Mihu, I mean, this is really looking like it's close to the end here.
Oh my gosh, an unsiege when the Arbiter and Zealot combo moves in, and this was probably the killing move for Dewalt. This was the real juicy trade that he was looking for, and he eliminates basically the entire army of Mihu, and there it is, GG Dewalt. He's going to get revenge, I think, for the first time in all of BSL versus Mihu.
Incredible, man. I mean, we knew he could do it. We kind of called it, before this series even started. But still, though, I mean, to take out a player like Mihu in a very close 2-1 series, be the first person, to really remove that 100% win rate there for Mihu in TVP. Props to Dewalt. We all, really were, I'm sure, cheering for him there, and excited to see, how the rest of this group goes for our Protoss favorite.
Yeah, but he still had to work for it. I mean, I don't know how big of a lead you got to get versus Mihu, because as a Terran player, I'm watching you 2 racks. It gets scouted. You pull SCVs. What did he kill? Maybe 4 zealots. None of the cannons died. He didn't kill any probes. You don't have gas. There's no academy. There's no factory. There's no command center. I'm sitting there. I'm like, where's my win condition? And then 25 minutes later, Mihu's still not dead. He's got 3-2. He's got vessels. I mean, you got to give props to Mihu, because that's
for sure
basically an unwinnable, not just unwinnable, unplayable position. So for him to even get to that state is quite impressive. But in the end, Dewalt finally the winner. So we've got Qiao on the board. We've got Dewalt on the board. Now we're going to be going into, what was it?
I think it's PvP,
Zhanhun and...
Oh, never mind.
Is.
Bonyth Sziky.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what I like to hear.
So we've gone through all the Protoss matches. We got PvP, then PvT, and now PvZ. And that's going to be an exciting one. But of course, we'll be going into that after our quick break.